Hello,
Have you
hello.
have you ever been like caught in the weather?
Caught in the weather? I guess. Actually, yeah, with you once at a music festival.
That's quite a story.
Yeah.
Not the one I was intending to get into. Yeah, we got hit by a tropical depression while we were in
Up in
tents.
Delaware. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Yep.
why not?
Yeah. That was crazy. That was really crazy.
I had one the other night. Southern Virginia. Right now it is pretty warm.
Mhm,
Got some
mhm.
nice air pressure there
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
You're not a meteorologist.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if somebody's got a magnifying glass, like a really big one somewhere. I don't know what it is, but
But something happened and it's feeling and looking nicer.
60 degrees. Yeah, warm.
It's beautiful in North Carolina also.
So I had a gig that I only needed, I didn't really need to take anything with me. So I decided to take my bike out,
Okay.
You got a little bike bell.
Sure.
So ting, ting. It's not very far. I'm going on a bike over there and it's fine until I get done.
Mhm.
And then when I'm leaving, it gets to the point where I borrowed a towel to clean off the seat of the bike so that I could get going.
Okay.
And it's like I get a couple of blocks in and I'm thinking, you know what? I might still go to the restaurant where my friend is waiting at the bar and I was going to go meet them after this gig.
Okay.
Like I had plans.
Yep.
Then I get stopped at a very prominent red light that I don't need to share with everybody, but it's downtown. And in the time I'm stuck on a
What are
bike,
you afraid of there?
it's not important to get into it.
Okay.
I'm afraid the road people are going to come out. VDOT.
It's like,
VDOT's going
what?
to put out a hit.
Sorry.
Take him down, Dano. No, but it's an intersection where you're like uphill and I'm not in a car. Like I'm on a bike. So I'm using my leg, obviously, to hold the bike up. And the rain is pounding at this point.
Yeah.
It gets so bad that instead of going to the restaurant, I just drive home. I'm just dripping there. And I just called him and I was like, listen, I'm too wet to be in public. Like I'm too wet to sit at a restaurant. Like it's just not, they'd say something. They'd be like, why is he here? You should probably go home. You're soaked. Like it was so bad.
Oh.
And I just was thinking about how sometimes you have these unfortunate situations that occur, but at the end of the day, I'm going to forget 90% of my bike rides home where nothing happened, but I'm probably going to always remember this one where I was battling the elements in the pounding rain.
Yeah, no, that's true, dude. Like the bad always sticks out more than the good, in most situations, but makes for good stories.
Let's throw this up on the screen before we get too far into it.
Okay. What you got?
It's breaking news from the Denver Broncos. Very important
of course
stuff.
it is. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got here.
Pat Surtain II, PS2 as he is known, had as many catches as the players he was covering when targeted on deep passes. 1 interception, 1 reception allowed.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Just a great stat.
Thanks for sharing that with everybody. We all did need to know.
I'm just glad we could look at it together.
Yeah, me too. That was really great.
And it's a great segue for what we're going to be talking about today, because we're going to be covering NFL coaching trends. At least one newspaper looked into. We're going to talk about, did Sean's team do the right thing going defense when everyone else goes offense? I don't know. Oh, and the latest after F1 Bahrain testing coming up. F1.
Welcome to Wit and Grit, where Ian and Sean break down sports betting, pop culture, or whatever's on their minds. The Wit and Grit Podcast.
You know about that new Mountain Dew?
They got a new Mountain Dew?
Yeah, man. Baja Cabo Citrus.
What are all the things they put in there?
I don't know. It says Tropical Citrus Punch. It's really good.
I don't know what
throw
was...
us some money. I'll drink one on every episode.
Shout out to very specifically the Mountain Dew. What is it? Mountain Dew Baja
Blast Cabo or Baja Cabo Citrus. Yeah.
Baja Cabo Citrus. That feels like AI named that soda.
Very niche. It's just kind of tastes like they created it. Like it's good, but like, what's going on there?
I don't understand at all what you mean. What? It's good, but what's going on there? You don't think it's real?
No, it's just, you know how all of the tropical quote unquote sodas, like they taste not quite like what they're trying to taste like.
Most sodas don't taste like what they should.
What I mean.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
I don't know what a Coca is, but it tastes like a cola. Hello.
All
right. 10 head coaching hires. Dang it, Dan. You got to be kidding me. Producer Dan, up to his old tricks. This is why we don't give him a mic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 10 head coaching hires this offseason, tied for the most in a single cycle. We got a sound effect for that, Dan? But here's the real headline. 6 offensive backgrounds, 3 defensive coordinators, and then 1 special teams outlier. But I mean, he's been a head coach forever. That's obviously John Harbaugh.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Right. Absolutely.
But now 69% of NFL head coaches come from offense.
So is it still that young offensive genius era?
I don't think so. I think that,
I think it's shifting a little bit. I mean, it's definitely offense heavy. It may feel a little different, but the league just watched Mike McDonald, defensive play caller, win the Super Bowl, and that matters.
And he was playing against another defensive coach.
Right. Yeah.
Second year, first year coaches. It makes a lot of sense that there's so much turnover and so many teams decided to just get a new coach because they just watched some newer guys, at least where they were, get all the way to the big game.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good point. It's an interesting kind of shift in the landscape. Got to counter what the trend was, 5 years ago, which was these offensive, last 5-10 years, the offensive genius hires. Got to kind of counter that trend.
And it makes a lot of sense when you see things like the Vikings getting rid of their GM. All of a sudden, it's like those couple weeks of just having to watch Sam Darnold and the Seahawks. It was too much. It's like if Seattle had lost, do you think that the Vikings would still have the same GM?
Right. No, I mean,
like if they didn't make it to the championship game, like if they just had fallen flat after winning maybe one game, I think the Vikings GM could have kept his job. But at the end of the day, he was the sacrificial lamb. I mean,
superficial sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, because they didn't really kill him.
That's just superstition.
Whatever, saved it. I'm just saying that Kevin O'Connell has too high of a rapport. I mean, just like he just got added to a certain committee. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Just Kevin O'Connell's been this quarterback whisperer, and the GM had no positive smoke to go on. He was replacing a longtime GM for the Vikings, so he had to try to make a name for himself. He wasn't really set up for success. And then you have the Broncos GM, George Paton, who was the longtime, should have been successor for the Vikings, but Rick stayed in that job too long. So he went to the Broncos, and, I think Broncos country is thankful for that because the talent, the fact that they've been under the Russell Wilson contract and they went to the AFC Championship and then one quarterback injury kept them from going to the Super Bowl in a lot of people's minds, that speaks volumes about how the GM has been doing. I mean, Sean Payton doing a very good job coaching, but I digress.
You love talking about the Broncos. It's okay.
It's easy. But this is where it gets interesting. I mean, Harbaugh left Baltimore for the Giants. Mike Tomlin resigned in Pittsburgh, so he's gone. That's one of the constants we've had for so many years now. And McDermott fired in Buffalo.
Yeah. I mean, that's the 3 pretty long tenured coaches just gone. You got Andy Reid left as the longest tenured coach in the league now.
Right. So, I mean, just more emphasis on what we're telling you, that this is a big time for change because the Seahawks and the Patriots survived. It's the fallout of the earthquake that is the Super Bowl. This is the ripple.
And it feels like, too, just in general, the lands or the league, the guard is shifting, so to speak, all of the familiar faces that have been dominant the past 10, 15 years are either gone or very close to being gone. And the coaches, players, and then you've got kind of the new crew rising up and kind of becoming the new faces of the league with Josh Allen and players like that, Lamar Jackson. It's pretty cool. Drake May started to make a name for himself real early here.
I can't believe Andy Reid hasn't retired yet.
I know, right? It's crazy that he is like now the relic of the league, so to speak.
Right. I mean, he was no spring chicken when he went to the Chiefs, but
right.
He was never seen as like this guy's done. It was always seen as like he didn't get it done, and he will get it done, and they were right about that.
Yeah.
But he could be stepping down soon if they win another one in the next like couple years. I could see him just walking away. Travis Kelce hasn't officially retired yet, has he?
No, that's going to be big news. That's going to be huge news.
I mean, not based on his production.
I saw it was funny. Speaking of A. Kelce, we've been watching a lot of the Olympics, and there was an event where Kylie Kelce was there with Jason, and they listed it as Kylie Kelce and her husband. And I was like, "That's
wow, man,
that was good."
Well, two of these new hires fit the McVay Shanahan mold directly. I mean, Mike LaFleur to Arizona, Clint Kubiak to the Raiders. Kubiak has bounced 6 teams in 6 years and now lands the Raiders with the number 1 overall pick. I mean, Sean, is this innovation? Is this a great move? Is Kubiak as good of a hire as it looks, or is just owners trying to copy a template that worked for someone else?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a little more of the latter, right? It's trying to figure out what has gone well for others and replicate that. But kind of what I was saying, closer to the top was that it might be a better move to counter the current trend and go counterculture in that regard to really throw a wrench in the system, so to speak. So I think it's owners that want to try to win, but maybe aren't going about it the right way. All owners want to try to win, of course, but you know what I mean? They think they're doing the right thing, but I don't think it is necessarily. Not everyone's Sean McVay, not everyone is.
Exactly. Going offense just because it feels like, and we could be eating our words here, but I think I speak for both of us when I say that Mike LaFleur felt like a reach.
Right.
A guy that's been around other guys, his brother's a guy, and you're just hoping to get some of that nepotism, typical Arizona hire. I can't believe they didn't give Vance Joseph a chance. He had been in the building before as the DC. He has a good rapport. Compared to all the other Broncos coaches that were there between Kubiak and Sean Payton, he's probably got the best record just off the top of my head. He was like 8-9. People were just disappointed because it was coming off of Peyton Manning winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Kind of hard act to follow, right?
Exactly. But I think that we mentioned this last week, but it bears repeating to hammer home your point. John Snyder, the GM for the Seahawks, when he had to replace Pete Carroll, of all people, was listening to some sort of podcast. We don't know which one it was. We'd love to give them a shout out. I don't think it was in the report. But he was talking all about how zigging when other people zag, which is what we talk about so much on this show. They were just talking about the fact that he saw all of these offensive juggernauts in his division, and he decided to go get the best defensive coach he could to just stop them. And 2 years in Sam Darnold. Mike McDonald is like, is that the new coaching tree you go after now if you're going to be the Zagster?
Yeah. I don't know. It might be, or was that a lightning in a bottle situation? I mean,
he had time with Jim Harbaugh, John Harbaugh. He was with Michigan. He was with the Ravens. He had been really good everywhere. And then the Ravens let him leave and then fired John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh should have been fired earlier. They were afraid to let go. And then they let Mike McDonald leave.
Yep.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy to Pittsburgh, Kevin Stefanski to Atlanta, and Todd Monken to Cleveland make up our next tier of coaches, which is the veteran offensive coaches landing in unstable quarterback situations.
Right. That's interesting to see. Is Rodgers going to even be the quarterback in Pittsburgh next year? We think so at this point, right? But
I mean, Does Todd Monken or Kevin Stefanski try to get Aaron Rodgers to go play? With all these new coaches, we don't know who values Aaron Rodgers right now. We knew before it was pretty much Mike Tomlin, but a lot of those guys are kicking bricks, you know?
Yep. And I mean, Kirk Cousins isn't getting any younger in Atlanta, and Penix, that's a crazy injury to come off of, you know? It's like you said, it's none of these situations are really turnkey.
Yeah.
You've got the Dolphins as another team there that kind of went from offense to defense with Jeff Hafley too, right? That's kind of saying that they think they're ready on offense, but they've got to be able to stop people, you know, even
and
in
they're
that
getting rid of
offenses like Buffalo and New England. You know, you've got to be able to keep up defensively.
And they're stopping people. I mean, they're getting rid of Tyreek Hill, obviously.
Yep.
Tua might be gone in some capacity.
That sounds like it. Yeah. I don't think they're going to find a trade partner to take on that contract.
There's an interesting amount of offensive turnover for a team that went with a defensive coach. So I can see how Dolphins fans probably were like going from the hope of being San Francisco with Mike McDaniel that I don't think he ever really delivered on for a long enough period of time, maybe half a season at most. He's not Kyle Shanahan. And that brings me back to the whole Clint Kubiak thing. Is it a good idea? I don't know. He did run an offense just now that won the Super Bowl with a defensive head coach. And that's, if you're playing armchair analysis like all of us usually are, that's when you start to think, okay,
pretty impressive.
This guy did more things. Like Eric Bieniemy gets no credit at all because Andy Reid is there. Even though he's back with the Chiefs this year as an offensive coordinator, watch if the Chiefs are really good, no one's going to notice.
Right.
Defensive counter wave. Let's continue it. I mean, Jeff Hafley was first, Jesse Minter, and then Robert Saleh. I mean, and Saleh's also got that patented Bill Belichick stat everybody loves to talk about, that a coach is better on their second stint.
Right. Well, we'll see how he goes. I mean, I do think he's going to be in a better situation, at least with this current Tennessee setup, with the opportunity with Cam Ward anyway. So that'll be interesting to see. But
it'll be interesting to see a quarterback there. Like, he doesn't have to figure that out and figure out being a head coach. He was doing a much better job of both than Aaron Glenn has to date.
Yeah, absolutely. And I actually do think he's got what it takes to be a good head coach in this league. I didn't, as a Dolphins fan, when he was on the Jets, I was a little worried that you know, they could develop it and he could kind of get them a little turned around. So
did you see the meme that the Tennessee Titans are trying to establish the baldest coaching committee ever known? They got Brian Daboll in there. They had several other coaches. They just all happen to be bald. Like Robert Saleh was like, there's something about him I just really jive with.
Yeah.
Clean.
But yeah, you've got a group of guys here that instead of really trying to go after the next McVay, they're trying to get more in position to stop McVay and coaches like him.
Yeah. They're trying to, it's a reaction to McDonald.
Right.
Let's see. So 60% of the offensive hires, but defensive momentum rising.
Yep. We've got people trying to copy the McVay and Shanahan tree, obviously still.
Right. Veteran OCs are getting second and third shots. We just mentioned Bieniemy. Matt Nagy's moved on.
Yeah. And then you've got some of these defensive coordinators that are gaining credibility now here after the Super Bowl.
And of course, long tenured coaches aging out.
Right.
And as a Broncos fan, I'll patiently await Andy Reid to just spend time fishing, go on television, be somewhere. He's very likable, right? Oh, let's put him on. Let's pivot to the stadium drama we all know you guys have heard about. I mean, Indiana lawmakers advanced legislation to create a Northwest Indiana Stadium Authority to lure the Bears across state lines. Sean, are the Bears actually moving to Indiana?
I think this is probably more of a leverage play. I don't see them uprooting one of the longest standing franchises, you know, that I can think of.
The money part that matters. I mean, Bears would put up $2 billion. Indiana would fund via bonds, taxes, and toll revenue. The real play is mixed use development. So it's not about a dome, but it's about like retail, housing, entertainment, owning the land around the stadium. And Arlington Heights still makes more economic sense than Hammond. So this is what we're seeing is a growing trend with stadiums. The Braves have one that's working really well. Like, put a lot more things in there other than the football. Don't just make a football stadium. Make a lot of places for people to go.
Yeah, I mean, you had Stephen Ross in Miami put an F1 track right there. You know,
right?
That's so. I mean, yeah, you've got definitely the population in Northwest Indiana is under 900,000, whereas Arlington Heights is over 3 million. So just I don't know. I think this is all leverage and nothing more than that.
People are pissed about it. I mean, they're mad.
Yeah. I just think it's a bluff.
NFL teams don't need new stadiums to survive. They need development districts to print money. So if you move the Bears to Indiana, you're basically saying we would rather make money than be a good steward of your team, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and I just don't think that the McCaskies are going to want the optics of leaving Chicago, like I said, and uprooting that like legendary franchise.
Do you want to talk? I mean, there's the elephant in the room, right? You feel it. If they move the team, they're going to win a Super Bowl. And the Chicago Bears are never going to have won one. The Chicago Bears will never have won one.
Right.
That'll be the whole shtick. That'll be the whole thing. It's setting up. It's right there. It's like, if they're script writers, I see what they're doing.
Calling him out.
All right, Sean, so you're the Dan Le Batard guy. He's more your cup of tea. I got no problem with him, but I'm just more of a Dan Patrick guy. So is it actually over with this whole like Stu Gatz thing, or what happened?
I don't know. It sounds like everything is kind of just question marks right now, really. Stu Gatz hasn't been on the show for like, gosh, it feels like a long time. It's got to have been close to a year now, if not more. And it wasn't announced, nothing like that. He's taken vacations and stuff like that before, been gone for extended periods of times. But anyway, started his own thing with, was it FanDuel, I believe? And so he's still doing like a daily show with people that, has a good audience. And, all the Le Batard show said about it is that he's welcome back at any point. And then the only thing that I've heard from Stu Gatz's side of things is that something was said or done that was deeply hurtful. There was really no other details given, but said that it put him in a bad place, and signed with, like I said, Fox Sports Radio and iHeart. So he's kind of doing his own thing right now. They've done a decent job of like replacing him in terms of like not having a void on the show. It doesn't feel like it. At first it was weird, but now it feels fine. But the bigger absence, honestly, which has nothing to do with this, is one of the producers, Billy, that had left, several months ago. And he was kind of more of like heart and soul of the show. He didn't talk as much as Stu Gatz or anything, but still for a producer talked a lot. And was just always, you're bringing the conversation to really fun, cool, unique places. And he's definitely the absence that's being felt more, definitely by myself. And then if you look in some of the comments, there too. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, the FanDuel partnership versus like a DraftKings deal, right? Is DraftKings where Dan Le Batard is? Or?
Yes, that's right. Yep.
So, I don't know. I mean, to me, it kind of feels like if I didn't know there was a feud, I thought when I saw Stu Gatz jump onto Fox Sports Radio before I knew about all this, I kind of just thought it was time for him to spread his wings and do his own thing.
Right. Well, I mean, he was a program director at the radio station in Miami before the Le Batard show. He kind of started Dan's radio career in earnest, honestly. So he's got the chops to really do whatever he wants in this industry. So, that's if he wanted a little more control and whatever that looks like for him, then he's definitely gotten that. So that's cool. It would be fun to have him back on the show, at least sometimes.
I've heard that they both have like an open invitation to one another. Like,
that's a weird.
But Dan Le Batard's really not. Yeah, like you said, nobody's really talking about it. But he's welcome on the show anytime.
It's kind of weird, right? It's like something. It sounds like something pretty bad happened, awkward at least, that they don't want to talk about. And so they're just like, it's what it is. Like, no bad blood anymore. Like, we're not going to sit here and talk smack about each other. But nah,
we just can't work together anymore.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. But I mean, like, again, that's just purely based on what I like. I don't know any more really than what we've just been speculating about. So, but it is interesting. The show's still great.
Well, I think it's interesting to see if this is going to be, was this about creative independence, a money conflict? the personal conflict seems to be what you definitely think it was.
Yeah.
It'd be really funny if it came out years later that there was nothing to talk about because it was just Stugotz got offered a bunch of money. And it was like, we could both split the money we're getting offered down here, or we can both get our own sum of money. Sum of money. Not son of a mummy.
We don't want any mummy sons.
Well, are you ready to F around?
Let's F around.
Final day of Bahrain testing was completed.
That's right. Yep. So testing done, 6 days in Bahrain. We've got the new engines, some new politics, but a little more clarity than we're used to at this point.
Yeah, I mean, we saw real pace, real innovation, and real engine drama, and one team might be in serious trouble before we get to Melbourne.
Right. So here's how we're going to do this. First, the full testing timeline, so we don't get that twisted up, and then we'll get into some of the engine compression drama, some team-by-team breakdowns, and then what it actually means heading into Australia.
Yeah, so coming out of Barcelona, Mercedes looked strong. I mean, then the first Bahrain test week happened.
Mm-hmm. Yep, Red Bull suddenly looking terrifying on the straights there.
Yeah, I mean, Verstappen gaining nearly 0.3 on the run to turn one alone.
Right, and that was about 11 kilometers an hour faster top speed than McLaren at one point.
Yeah, so clear energy development advantage, and as we talked last time on the show when we were effing around with F1, it's all about how Red Bull was focused more on being able to deploy that electric component of their engine.
Mm-hmm.
Cars are now roughly 50% electric power, whereas they used to be about more of an 80-20 split. So if your battery deployment strategy is better, you can gain half a second per lap without touching aero.
Right. That's got people talking. George Russell called Red Bull's deployment pretty scary. Carlos Sainz called it mighty impressive. So
Carlos Sainz, you hate him. You always call him a Sainz. I mean, James Val, though, from Williams, goes on F1 TV and says, Red Bull looked good until we started talking about their power unit. Then they turned it down. So they may have been running higher modes early than sandbagging.
Yeah, that could be some like the smoke and mirrors like we were talking a little bit about last week too, right?
Well, I mean, but even Charles Leclerc admitted everybody is trying to throw the ball to the other guy.
Right.
Everybody's like, look at that team, not this team. Look over there. Don't look over here.
We got some good test times yesterday too, because we actually had some cooler track conditions. So we had Antonelli post a 132.803, Piastri a 132.861. Verstappen and Hamilton were right there as well. But Leclerc had the fastest final morning session. It was the hot conditions too. But that was at 133.689.
When temperatures dropped, Mercedes and McLaren shined. When it was hot, Ferrari looked strong and stable over race runs. That tells us something about the management and balance windows.
Absolutely. Yeah, and talking about more technical aspects of things, the engine that we've been talking about, the engine political war, kind of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes may have found a way to optimize compression ratio when the engines are hot. Yet the FIA originally only measured the compressions when the engines were cold. So rival manufacturers, Ferrari, Red Bull and Ford, Honda, Audi pushed for a change. And so now there's a vote. From August 1st, engines may also be tested at 130 degrees Celsius. So kind of another shift here on the technical side of things.
It's hot. Toto Wolff's response, total bulls, utter bulls. That's how you read it if it's edited.
That's true.
He says it's legal. It's a storm in a teacup. They were prepared for a protest in Melbourne. Fuel rumors are another nonsense.
Right. Yeah. Half the grid runs Mercedes power.
Yeah. So, I mean, Mercedes, McLaren, Williams, Alpine.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Better deployment consistency for Mercedes, more usable power late in races, possible improved efficiency over stints. But George Russell admitted something critical. We need to improve reliability. I mean, Antonelli had a kind of an issue. They've had small gremlins across both Bahrain weeks, and Russell says starts are their biggest weakness right now. He literally said both his practice starts were worse than his worst ever F1 start. in a new era, starts matter more than ever.
Absolutely.
Ferrari showed up Thursday. This is what caught my attention. I sent the video to Sean. I was like, we need to talk about this.
Yeah, this is
I
pretty
was
cool.
like, Ferrari showed up with an upside down rotating rear wing in straight mode. Instead of flipping open like DRS used to, it rotates 180 degrees. So, but it disappeared by the afternoon.
Right. Yeah, Fred Vassar said sometimes innovations are visible and sometimes they're not. So
legal, yes. Will it race? That's unknown.
No, but it does matter, It's Ferrari pushing those boundaries, right? It's something we haven't seen before. Leclerc looked really strong in race over race distance in hot conditions. Ferrari's turbo spool appears aggressive on starts. So we got a lot of people that are thinking Ferrari could be rockets off the line in Melbourne.
I mean, that could steal track position early, even if raw pace is close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's definitely a storyline to follow.
Speaking of things that did not impress, we've been covering on this show a lot about how Aston Martin, since the last season, was still happening. I mean, the Constructors was done, but, there was still a wide open drivers championship. It had no Aston Martin drivers in it.
Yep.
The Adrian Newey, run team is just like a disaster. I mean, late debut in Barcelona, 4 months behind at one point per Adrian Newey. Right. Engine issues, battery issue confirmed by Honda, their new engine partner, shortage of power unit parts, only 6 laps on the final day, 128 laps total in the final Bahrain test.
Yeah, Stroll at one point suggested they looked as much as 4.5 seconds off. And then we had Pedro De La Rosa also admitting definitely not where we want to be.
Honda confirmed a battery-related issue and limited parts supply, but they ended testing early for a team that built a new factory, signed Adrian Newey, began Honda Works partnership, targeted 2026 as their reset year that they've been doing all this press about. I mean, this is brutal.
Yeah, definitely starting out on the back foot here, and not what you want to see when you've kind of had your eye on this season as what should have been a positive stepping stone.
Yeah, I mean, heads could roll.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you keep Alpine quietly improves. Okay.
Yeah, right. I mean, last year finishing last place in the Constructors, Gasly got all 22 of their points, and there was some organizational instability.
Mercedes engine, Calapento, over 100 laps in a day, top 10 times. Management says they're clearly better than 2025. Fabio.
Yeah, and maybe not in the top 4 yet, but looking competent again.
It's not nothing. We've talked about this a lot. The midfield matters. Like, being last is terrible. Being just 6th, 7th, moving your way up in the list. You make a lot more money, you can get even better.
That's right.
Speaking of things that probably didn't help, who didn't show up to Barcelona?
Right. We had Williams completely skip Barcelona. So that was not great. In Bahrain, they had 422 laps for their first test. They were reliable, and Sainz said that they were finding the setup direction.
Vowles admitted it was a tough winter, but the car runs. So in a rules cycle, reliability is gold. But could they be midfield leaders? Possibly. Is this the year Williams is going to lead the midfield? I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, someone there that they might be competing with, kind of that middle of the pack, we got to look at is Audi as well.
Yeah. Goodbye, Kick Sauber. Hello, Audi.
Yeah.
Most laps on day 1. Hülkenberg is consistent, and there's been no drama. I mean, it's not flashy, but stable.
Right. Yeah, and that's important. Stability is how you can get to the flashiness and then the winning and everything like that.
Yeah, we're talking about Ferrari for the crazy rear wing 180 rotation, which sounds like a sentence if you told me a week ago. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, what?
And then we're talking about how Aston Martin is a complete disaster, and then Audi is just not getting talked about. That's worth noting.
Yeah.
Speaking of a slow start, Red Bull, I mean, water system issue, low mileage early, but they finished strong.
Yeah, you had Max log nearly 140 laps in a day once everything was sorted out. Russell still saying Red Bull deployment looks the best. So, Max is saying kind of the praises could be some for diversion tactics, but Red Bull says that they're about fourth right now.
True. I mean, they're absolutely in the title mix, and Verstappen admits to rule changes better than anyone, or adapts to rule changes better than anyone. I mean,
right.
he admitted, as we covered last week, he doesn't care for this new car so far. He doesn't think it's fun.
But he's been, like saying, the one that's turning heads.
Mm-hmm.
So,
go ahead and talk about your boys.
Yeah, we got the McLaren, consistent, former champions last year. They looked quick in both hot and cool conditions. So strong, long runs. The drivers looked comfortable. Zach Brown says they're in the big four, but not leading it.
That usually means they think they're very close.
Right, man. If the Mercedes power unit holds its edge early, I think we're looking at a constructor's threat here again for back-to-back.
Do we have a foreshadowing sound effect?
I don't think so.
Be cool.
Dan's not playing it, so.
Foreshadowing. Mercedes. It feels like we've been talking about them a little bit the whole time. Fastest single lap overall. Kimi Antonelli was impressive. George Russell was composed. Engine controversy, of course, with some pointed language. And but I mean, minor reliability gremlins too. Starts currently poor.
Right.
Russell called starts the tallest hurdle. I mean, can they fix that?
If they can, then you could be looking at some early favorites here, but you've got to be able to start well. It's what we've kind of been talking about, every segment here, talking about each team as we go along, that starts matter.
And I'm not saying I have no confidence in Mercedes to win the constructors, but when we get to my bets coming up here in just a couple minutes, we're not making one on Mercedes because they're so heavily favored, plus 130.
Yeah.
There's not a race has happened yet, Sean.
No, exactly. And for whatever reason, they are, like you said, heavily favored.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably that engine.
Probably that engine.
Well, some of the heads at F1 are having discussions to increase sprints to as many as 12 per season. It's currently 6. Drivers seem kind of mixed on this idea. Carlos Sainz says sprints sometimes reveal too much. Charles Leclerc says 6 is the sweet spot. But F1 wants more action on Fridays.
Huh. That's interesting. I mean, it does, it affects the rookies, the setup time, the development rhythm, things like that. But I'd be interested to see that. Is it something that we could get really creative with and add like a specialty driver to each team that's just for sprints or something like that? I don't know.
It's got to make, all the money it takes to get all the cars and get everything set up there. Why not do more races?
Yeah, sure.
Sell more tickets.
Yep, I'm here for it.
Okay, so our final power ranking heading into Australia. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, Red Bull.
Right, but all very close, I think.
Yeah, the margin is very tiny.
Mm-hmm.
Tier 2, best of the rest. Williams, Alpine, and Audi. Not necessarily in that order, in my opinion, but they're all right there in the same tier.
Yep.
Tier 3 is survival mode. That is Haas, Racing Bulls, and you probably noticed we didn't even talk about them, Cadillac.
Right.
Cadillac had a terrible time. Not nearly as bad as, Aston Martin.
Right.
But Cadillac's
not done this before.
Right, exactly. So the setbacks that Cadillac is having are kind of expected for a brand new team. They're not necessarily like behind the starting point. So that's why it's really not much to talk about because they're an 11th team. It's their first year. It
would have been kind of crazy if they came out and looked like, Ferrari and Red Bull and some of these other teams out there are looking right now.
Yeah. It'd be insane.
It'd be unheard of.
And tier 4, our 11th team, that is Aston Martin. Lance Stroll, you gonna turn this around,
Yeah.
Good luck. The Wit and Grit Podcast includes gambling-related discussion, opinions, and advice intended for entertainment and informational purposes only. I, Ian Price in Virginia, and Sean Duiser in North Carolina are not attorneys, financial advisors, or licensed bookmakers. Nothing said on this podcast should be taken as professional or legal advice. Listeners are solely responsible for their own gambling decisions. Always gamble legally and responsibly. We're not liable for any losses, decisions, or actions taken based on the content of this show. If you need help, get help. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org. In Virginia, call 1-888-532-3500. And North Carolina, 877-718-5543. We're going to be talking in units. Sean, what is a unit?
10% of your betting allocation.
All right, and I'll just walk you through these bets real quick, and Sean will react and tell you how he feels about it. I think he's going to like this one. I'm going to put a unit on McLaren to win the Constructors again. I'm saying plus 250, so that's 2.5 times your money.
Yeah.
Safest two-car weekly points profile.
Yeah, between Norris and Piastri, I love this. I think they have a great shot at a repeat performance here for the Constructors Cup. So I will definitely be following you on this one. And it's also my favorite team. So
yeah, low drama, strong long runs, Mercedes engine. You know, this one's a little bit juicier at plus 275.
Okay.
Ferrari to win the Constructors. We love the 180-degree wing.
Yeah, see if that just totally revolutionizes things.
Well, that and the fact that Lewis Hamilton pointed out that he inherited the last car because they were going to be having a rule change. He's been there and helped design this car, so it's got a bit of him in it. And at this age, this much racing, he's got to be kind of picky about some stuff.
For sure. No, it'll be interesting to see.
And so, they didn't win a single race last year, Ferrari. So it feels like they're coming into 2026 with something. They re-upped Fred Vassar's contract, right? Mm-hmm. So they're doing something, and I feel like it's going to be a lot more podiums and stuff. And could you think of? We talked about how Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri for McLaren. That's a great 1-2 low drama for now because they're not both competing for the Drivers' Championship.
Yep.
But honestly, they had a little bit too much drama last year, so hopefully it doesn't do that again where they like knock each other out.
Yeah.
But Hamilton and Leclerc, you could see them right up there. I mean, arguably they should. If it was no new car, no car information, if we were just doing driver rankings, I feel like they would have. That's a better 1-2 than Mercedes.
Yeah, I would agree.
So we can give that a plus 275. We're going to put a unit on that. So a unit on McLaren, unit on Ferrari. Obviously, we can't win both, but we're getting more than 2.5 times our money, no matter which hits. Hopefully, one hits. We'll probably be making a lot of bets like this as the year goes on, just kind of futures on the Constructors. So it might end up being like a decent amount of lost bets, but hopefully the 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 that hit cover all of it.
And only predicting or saying that they might lose because they'll be going directly against each other, right? Like they can't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Only one team can win.
But even so, it is still going to be profitable.
Like, for instance, we could end up liking something about Mercedes, and they have like a couple of bad starts, struggle early in the season. Then when we see some reports they're going to turn it around and the numbers a lot better, we might dip our toe on Mercedes a little bit to come back from behind, We're just playing the teams we think have a really good chance right now that are actually at a really good number because Mercedes would be in the lineup here, but plus 130 to type your money for the entire racing season, no thank you.
Yeah.
Let's do some driver props, some driver championship props because we can't do any race-specific stuff yet, right?
Right. Not yet, I don't think.
Max Verstappen to win the Drivers' Championship at 3-1 plus 300. He's complaining about the car. People are trying to tell Red Bull's better than Red Bull wants to say they are.
Yeah, I mean, he pushed this thing last year too, like right down to the wire. So he's definitely in strong consideration.
And if you're looking at one individual driver that you think could win the championship, it's him.
Yeah, I think so. Even given that, I love Norris and Piastri, but I would agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, results are there.
Yep.
So
he's scary every race.
I mean, in regulation resets, he's the best adapt and punish driver in the world.
He's an incredible driver.
Charles Leclerc to win the Drivers' Championship. This is kind of piggybacking off of the constructors argument for Ferrari, but if they win the constructors, they do that how? Winning, podiums, points.
Yeah.
And as much as you want to kind of back Lewis Hamilton, somebody's been with Ferrari longer, somebody's a little bit closer to their prime as Charles Leclerc.
Mm-hmm.
He got on podium last year. I don't think Lewis Hamilton did.
Yeah, I can't recall, but I don't believe so.
I don't remember him ever making it to a podium. He made so many like top finishes, but not all the way up. Leclerc had a couple of thirds. So what do you think?
Yeah, this could, everything kind of has to align, but if it does, then I love the value here. Yeah, I think it's worth maybe the quarter unit or so that we mentioned.
Yeah, just to re-emphasize the units, because I might have glazed past it, but Verstappen for the drivers plus 300, we're going to do 3/4 of a unit. So I'm not even putting a whole unit on it. It's way too early.
Right.
Leclerc for the drivers at plus 550, a quarter of a unit.
A quarter unit there. Yeah. So spread
out. That's one unit.
Yeah.
Total spread out. Exactly.
Yep.
Thank you.
On a couple of high payout drivers there.
Just trying to get the number before it's bad.
Yep.
If you think Norris is going to win the drivers championship, one book that does not originate in the U.S. but is legal in the U.S., if I don't have to say their name, has a everyday boost, if that gives it away, for Norris to win the drivers championship. I think it was something crazy.
Interesting. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I would love for that to happen. I don't know how common back-to-back championships are in this sport.
For Max, they're very common. So, Ferrari starts off the line, Mercedes reliability and starts, Red Bull deployment and race trim, McLaren tire management, Aston Martin damage control, and whether the Mercedes engine vote shifts momentum mid-season. Because, there's a vote on if Mercedes engine is if this is legal. So if it gets thrown out, their odds might change drastically, but so would our opinion of their chances.
For sure. That's another story that we're definitely going to be following.
All right. Well, that's effing around with F1 here on the Wit and Grit Podcast.
That's right. Excited for race time.
I'm excited. I need to order some Cadillac gear before I see them on the track and get discouraged.
Yeah.
Save us, Bottas! Bottas!
You got anything else today?
I think that's it. I think that we covered it. In the NFL, I think it's interesting that, just review what we talked about. It's interesting that the defensive coaches seems to be kind of the fresh new thing, and all of these 10 teams that hired didn't get that memo until after only a few did.
That's right. Yep.
So if Hafley works out for the Dolphins, that would be very exciting, because at the end of the day, you have two types of head coaches, right? You've got the head coach that has a specialty and they're trying to constantly plug the other thing, or you have your John Harbaugh type, your delegator. You're making sure I've got all of my coaches in line and they are doing their job right.
Mm-hmm.
So is Hafley going to be more of that? Who's going to have his hand on the defense? Is he going to call defensive plays? We'll see. Mike McDonald, as we covered in our Super Bowl coverage, is the first coach to call his own defensive plays and win the Super Bowl.
Did not know that.
A lot of defensive coaches won the Super Bowl, Bill Belichick, but he wasn't calling the plays anymore.
So this is just like a professional Madden player.
Exactly. Mike McDonald is a cheat code. So we're going to find out in a couple years whether trying to grab the next McDonald is like trying to find the next McVay. Maybe there just isn't one.
Right.
How many of the disciples of that tree have actually done something?
No, not many.
Not many, but we will have continuing F1 coverage coming up. We're going to start getting into some NFL preseason bets here in just a little bit after the Olympics, once the draft gets closer to being set, and once we know who might actually be really good and really bad.
Yeah. Well, until then, we will talk to you guys next time. Have a good weekend.
Peace out.